Safety Net Studio presents.
Whatever your mom wants, and I know that cremation is not part of it, but that is your mom. She brought you into this world. She gets to choose how you lay to rest, and that's something that I've always thought of. And like you said, you don't.
Now I don't get to decide.
You don't get to decide.
Welcome to March. Hopefully it's in like a lion, out like a lamb, if you subscribe to that. We are probably about, 5 weeks, almost 6 weeks away from the Masters, which I'm very much looking forward to. To me, that is the kickoff to spring.
Yeah, I would agree with that for you.
Yeah. And March 20th, big day for our family as we're heading off to see Project Hail Mary.
So excited. Yeah, the way you loved on this book.
I know you didn't read the book. I know the boys didn't read the book, but I pretty much told you, like
over
every
dinners.
Every time I put it down, I'm like, okay, let me tell you where I am in this book. It's incredible. I've been raving about it on the Terrestrial Radio Show, but I'll say this again for those that haven't heard it. It has the best literary meeting between human and extraterrestrial I've ever read.
Amazing. I'm excited. I'm excited to see if they transcribe. I glitched right out there. I don't know. I was like
in real time.
Yeah, I just trying to figure out what the word I would use, but that it moves over from print to
translate.
Film. Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess it would be translate in that regard, just because sometimes the books are better than the movies.
Yeah. Oh, more often than not.
More often.
I mean, a great example of that, Ready Player One, which after I read that book, and I heard that Steven Spielberg was going to be making that movie, I thought, well, they're going to have to split this into two because there's just too much story to tell in one movie. But they shoehorned it into one movie, and now they're working on Ready Player Two, which is another book that Ernest Cline wrote. I like my sci-fi. I don't know if you know or not.
I do.
Big shout out to anyone who's going through a hard time lately. I have a colleague who is going through a bit of a grind. He's had a lot of death, a lot of death in the family lately, including pets and family members and just friends and family friends and just one after another, and it's crushing. It's crushing. Oh, here it comes. Stare at a light.
Sorry.
That's real.
Sorry.
Where's the second one? It always follows up with two.
No, I'm a one sneezer.
You know, no, you're not.
I'm a one sneezer.
You're like the Sith. There's always a master and an apprentice.
It's only one.
Always do.
Oh, well.
The boys and I always know. You don't say bless you until after the second one because there's always a second one coming.
No, there's only one this time. It's to chat about your colleague. It is. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people going through a lot. Winter is long. I think February gets like, okay, it's redundant. We've done this, and you know the finish line's coming. Okay, we're 5 weeks away. Is it in like a lion, out like a lamb? Is the groundhog doing this? And then the weather for Winnipeg has been so all over the place that you kind of get glimpses of it. And
well, I mean, we've talked about it before, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the way that the calendar is scheduled is completely scheduled around taxes. It's like the one that we follow, the Gregorian calendar, is completely scheduled for taxes, where even if you look to the Latin word primavera, which is spring, prime, one, that's supposed to be the first month of the year. That's supposed to be the first time, right?
Well, yeah, spring. A new year should start in spring.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's just end of the year, all that stuff compounding. And I mean, I've even been going through the winter blues.
Yeah.
And just trying to figure out all the things that have been going on and going, it's the end of the season, tired of winter, minus 40, dark, we're finally starting to get brighter out. But it got me kind of thinking, and it's a conversation that we've kind of had loosely throughout our 17 years together. But have you ever thought about what you would do if I suddenly passed?
Woo! I
know.
Well, I would be sad, and I would miss you.
Well, it's funny you say that because I had made a joke about I was with the boys. We were driving them around, and my boys, my not the boys, our two kids, and one of them said something to the effect of, "Oh, dying would be really hard." I said, "Not really. Dying's the easy part." I said, "It's hard for everyone else that you leave behind."
Right. Keanu Reeves has a great line.
He said it on Stephen Colbert, who has a standard question on a show saying, "What happens after we die?" And he says, "I know the ones we leave behind will miss us."
So yeah, I would 100% miss you. I think one thing that you know about me is the funeral, the way that the funeral system is set up right now, I just don't agree with it. This idea that a grieving family within 7 days has to put on essentially a show with little sandwiches and food and organizing and planning, and then they grieve. So they almost put their grief on pause. So for me, I personally, it's a weird conversation, but I think it's an important one to have. We have a will, and we have that all sorted out. I think that's also really important for people to do. It's a tough conversation to have, but like, hey, if something happens to you, something happens to me, do you have insurance? Where does this work? How does this work? Where does this go to?
Where are the kids going?
Where do the kids going? That was a tough one. The first time we took a vacation together, my anxiety shot through the roof on the plane because I had, what if something happened? Who's going to take them? Who's going to have them? And you looked over at me, held your hand, and said, we have the paperwork in place. And that's it. Like, it's out of, like, there's nothing else you could do. You just, if you believe in the afterlife, or you believe in a second, you're at angels and your angels around you. If that's something that, if it hits with you, then you know that you're going to protect those people in your way that you can do from that fourth dimension or whatever. But for me, I wouldn't hold I'd hold a celebration of life. I would probably go into I would pause. I would really pause, and I would take the time with the kids, and I would pause. Maybe I would take them and we would just leave for a while, get out of the environment that we're in. And like I said, and then come back.
That looks so suspicious, by the way.
Going on a trip, baby! See ya!
Where's that life insurance check? Private jet, here we come.
Okay, well, that's not what I meant, but I think it's because the thing that happens that I notice with grief, and you know this about me, but when people say somebody's passed or anything like that, what's the first thing I ask them?
What were their names?
What was their name? Tell me about them. Grief has this shadow that casts, and people all of a sudden don't want to ask. Oh, I don't want to say anything. Maybe if I don't say anything, then they'll just feel better. But the only thing, because I have friends who have lost children, is they just want to talk about them, and they want to be able to talk about them in joy, talk about them in sadness, and you need to be there and to listen, and you need to ask, and you can't be afraid. And I think that weird shy side shuffle that I'm sure I did 20 years ago when I didn't understand it, you're like, hi, how are you doing? Let me know if you need any help. You think I'm going to ask? You think I'm going to ask if I need help if my spouse has died and my life just feels like it's completely over? The person I'm looking to retire with and spend my days with. Like, my hope is we're holding hands and we're, 98 years old and we're holding hands. I mean, you hear sometimes those stories of couples who pass within 24 hours because they spend their whole lives together.
Well, The Notebook's a great example of that.
Oh, God. Love that movie.
I'll bring this.
On a white picket.
I honestly thought that if Ozzy and Sharon, if Sharon passed first, Ozzy wouldn't be too far behind. But Ozzy passed first, and actually, the daughter Kelly Osbourne, she had to go on social media because people were saying that she didn't. They were calling her out for something, and she had to go on social media and be like, the fact that I'm getting out of bed is a victory today. Leave me alone.
There's this weird expectation, and that's the part about the funeral. Somebody passes, and then I understand on a religious belief that they want to, in some religions, the body needs to be buried as part of the religion within a certain, I can appreciate that. But this grand party and, sad, and I'm not saying that that's not needed. It's needed, but allow the family to grieve. And then a month or two or when they're ready, they can have this ceremony. So a ceremony like when you know this about me, you're walking in, you got two options. You get a shot of tequila. Well, now it's probably a pre-workout, or a shot of tequila or a pre-workout. I want inflatable wavy arm guys at the front. I want bubbles everywhere. Why? I want it to be silly. I want you to remember what I brought into the room. And that's what I would hope. Inflatable wavy arm guys are my favorite. Anytime I see them, I think it's the most joyful thing in the world. Who doesn't love bubbles? Just bubbles everywhere. So you're crying and a bubble falls on and you're like, no, it's just a bubble. But I think, I would be devastated. I would be devastated. There's this thing that I'm so excited about is that we've been together going on 17 years and we've met when I was 28. So once we hit that 28 mark, I've spent more years with you than without you. And I've met a lot of couples through the gym who are high school sweethearts or college sweethearts. And I just gush and they're like, what is up with you? I'm like, it's just so cute. And you've been with this person more than you haven't been with this person. This is your person. And I feel blessed that we found each other in this world. And so I would be devastated in Hawaii on a beach. Might as well be sad with it's pretty.
Suspicious.
I would go golfing, to be honest. I'd golf because that would make me feel like, oh, I'm going to cry. Because that'd make me feel like I was closer to you. And I do think that, I mean, I add humor into it because I think, again, death is looked at as like, yeah, it's sad and you've lost somebody. And, you know, I think I'm going to end up losing somebody in my family. You know, I've got a really sick uncle and he was like a father figure to me. And, you know, they'll like, I keep thinking, gosh, I hope they don't rush the funeral for them. I can grieve on my own and I can have his thoughts and his memories. But then a few months later when they're ready, let's share our stories.
There's something to be said about having something to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? As far as distraction, like, I don't know what to do. I'll organize a funeral. At least
but that's the same idea of like, that's just what's happened. You know what I would do as we're talking about this? I'd probably throw you a golf tournament. You used to do a Wheeler Open when we first met. In fact, you were doing a Wheeler Open after I had a baby. Do you remember this?
I'll never forget it.
Oh my gosh. The picture. I'll never forget the picture. Can we just dive into that for a second?
It's right here.
You think you can find it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you had a Wheeler Open. Obviously, we had no idea when. Well, we knew that, you know, I was around the time. I have a baby.
Funny enough, the other Wheeler got open too. Right across here.
I got sliced open. And there I am. I ended up getting really sick. I had cellulitis after I had Angus, and I had to go back into the hospital for a week. It was awful. I had home care for 6 weeks after because I had they had to do packing from the inside out. It was a really traumatic experience for me and for you and for the family because it was just not what you think birth. You know, they make birth like, oh, the baby's here and look at you and look at latches on and they're back to like their perfect six pack and it's like, wow, you sold me a bunch of shit.
Well, listen, thank God you had our children when you did, because if you had them now, I don't think any of you would have survived based on the current healthcare in Manitoba. But that's for another time.
That's another show. But to go back to this Wheeler Open that you had. So I'm in the hospital. I'm 2 or 3 days in cellulitis. I'm there. And you're like, I got to go do my tournament. I'm like, of course you have to go do your tournament. Like, I totally get it. Go. And he's gone for the day. And I think my mom came. And then pictures were rolling into me. And there's Dave with 2 girls on his
shoulders, on my shoulders.
I think they were Hooters girls too, if I could remember.
No, I think they were promo girls for beer.
Up here. Right? So there you are, lying in a bed with an infection, sliced open, 55 pounds overweight, sleep deprived, with a child that literally almost ripped your body open. I had so much drugs, and I get this picture, and I remember being like, what the heck is happening in my life? It was hard for me. It was hard for me not to be mad at you, to be disappointed. It wasn't your fault. You were doing Dave Wheeler at that version of Dave Wheeler, who you were. And it was like, I had changed so much so quickly, and you were, you know, now I wouldn't give a shit if you put a girl over top of your head. I'd be like, good luck. I'll probably lift you harder and faster, girl. You know what I mean? But like, that shit doesn't bother me. But at the time, I was in such a vulnerable state. So sometimes if you're in a relationship with a partner, pause.
She's going to be in Hawaii all by herself very soon if she keeps going down this rabbit hole.
What else you want to talk about, Dave? Yeah, I'll take the kids with me, though.
Oh, great.
They get a trip too. I mean that in more of like the house reminds you. So I don't know that. I think those are the first things.
Well, I appreciate the idea of doing a golf tournament as long as well,
you don't want a street named after you. It's Wheeler Way.
I would love that.
Or get a cul-de-sac, a roundabout. You would love a roundabout. Then I can have somebody being like, you're doing it wrong.
And look, I love the memorial tournaments that I take part in and whatnot. I find it really interesting that a lot of people have requests. Here's what I want when I die. Here's what I want to happen.
I want all of that.
Yeah, and that's great. I'm gone. You know, put me in a wooden box. Like, please do not spend thousands of dollars on a really expensive box that's going to go on the ground.
I'm gonna cry.
If anything, why?
Because I wouldn't. It's not my say what happens to your body. I would call your mother. It's your mother's say. I've always thought that because your mom is a very religious woman and you have a family plot. In St. Andrews. And for me, I got my life with you. But for your mom, and I'm as a mom, she should get to decide what happens to your physical body. Like you said, your spirit's gone, and how I choose to honor you is as your wife. But whatever your mom wants, and I know that cremation is not part of it. But that is your mom. She brought you into this world. She gets to choose how you lay to rest, and that's something that I've always thought of. And like you said, you don't.
Now I don't get to decide.
You don't get to decide. Well, you can, but
science harvest.
Well, you've said that to
harvest
me too.
Whatever you can.
Oh yeah.
I ain't
don't
using it
say
anymore.
that. Don't put that on there. They'll see them. Well, we need this organ.
I used to do that bit in my stand-up where I'd say, I don't fill those things out. Let's just say I'm in a car accident. I'm laying on the side of the road. I could survive if I get care right away. And all of a sudden they check my license and they're like, ooh, he's an organ donor. And I got an aunt that could use a lung.
Yeah, right.
Let's wait 5 minutes.
Right, right. You should put on there, eye not good.
But I like the idea of
liver maybe needs help.
I love the idea. Once upon a time, I thought if I ever went early, I would love, a big street hockey tournament. That would be really fun. Everyone picks up a stick and plays a street hockey tournament. But I like the idea of a golf tournament. Food, as long as the food's good.
It'll be burritos for you, baby.
Let's go.
All Mexican food.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Pizza, whatever it may be. But none
Frank, so can I get a sponsor?
None of... Yes, you can. Yes, the sub zaws. I want just a table full of their pizza subs.
I'd like to shout out our sponsors for Dave's funeral.
Please have sponsors. Pay for the funeral. Speaking of which, if you go to sheath.com and...
Wait, yes, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, if you go to sheath.com, you can order underwear and use the promo code RAE, R-A-E, for 20% off at checkout. And that is because of your working out and your fitness journey. And
Sheath is such a good brand.
Yeah, well, Sheath and I dealt with each other when I was doing the hockey podcast, and they're great. I still say the best underwear I've ever worn. I'm wearing it right now. It's the only thing I wear. I wear it on my feet and I wear it on my balls.
He doesn't wear underwear on his feet. Let's make that very clear. They have socks.
I would. Yeah, they have socks.
And you love their socks because they have like an L and a right. I need that. An L and an R. I need that for yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm like, what am I putting up? Like, I have no idea. But you said you like it because it's got like a ball cup.
It's got a compartment. It keeps everything separated. It's lovely. It's bamboo mesh. It's honestly, truthfully, the best underwear I've ever worn. I will, until they come up with something better, this is all I'm wearing. I
agree. And so I have their underwear as well. It's my favorite to work out in. Again, you said breathable. I love their underwear. I think it fits. It doesn't roll down. They have a nice thick band if you want that. Sometimes I really want that. And yeah, my first starting photo I took was in the bamboo set that they have. It's a lumberjack feel to it, red and black. And I tag them all the time in the post. And we've gotten to know each other through Instagram. And I think it's also a really good idea. Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot, playa.
Ask. I'm considered a micro influencer. I don't like the word influencer at all. But I have a micro account, but I have a lot of really good numbers. And hey, you want to do something? You want to do like some fun stuff? Like, I just want more exposure to help people's mindset and to tell people that they have the ability and the worth. And they're like, let's do something together.
Wearing good underwear is a great start for a healthy mindset.
I think so too, because then you're not, when you're working out and you're like picking and moving, and if they roll, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. And I learned that the hard way. Sometimes you're in there like, excuse me,
mm-hmm.
something's riding up in the wrong spot, and it's tough. So you can use the code RAE. We'll put the link at the bottom. It's going to be on for the whole month of March that you can use the code RAE, but they have a sale on right now. I was looking at it because I wanted to get you new socks. They have a 3-pack, but they have all their stuff is on sale. So I think their underwear, their brief cut, I think is on like regular 22. It's on for 16, and then you get 20% off of that. Mm-hmm. So give it a try. I would love for you to check them out. Honestly, we're protecting your junk.
And let us know.
No, it's not. I don't like the word junk. You call it junk. It's your precious. It's your precious.
My precious.
Your precious pots. You got to keep those, and you got to keep them breathable.
Would you keep that part of me? Have it put in a mold?
Yeah, I probably would. Actually, I should do that. We should do that. Is that weird?
Yeah, kind of, but not really.
Okay, now what would you do?
A lot of. Well, let's finish off with me. I'm curious to know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Here is the $1 million question.
What am I gonna wear?
Would you remarry?
Mm-mm. No, I would not remarry. 100% not remarry. No.
I think you should.
I would never close the door of a possibility of a relationship of somebody, but I wouldn't remarry. No. There would be no marriage. There would be no standing. There would be no nothing. Would there be companionship? I've said this to you before. I would hope that you would find companionship at some point, but I would not remarry. Not at all. Not remarry. It's not happening.
Curious.
Yeah. Would you remarry?
No, I don't even think I would seek out a relationship.
No, that's what I mean. Like, it's just like that door is shut.
Well, I mean, look, let's just say it happens tomorrow. I mean, you still got a solid 45 years left. You know what I mean? That's a long time. That's 2 lifetimes.
Well, and I wouldn't want you to spend your life alone. Well, I would just want a picture of me over top of the bed and with a kind of like a downward stare with like the laser eyes.
I would get sheets printed with you all over it. Is what I would do. No, I know this is going to sound really weird and no homo on this one, truthfully, but I would probably move in with another dude and like maybe another widower and just have a roommate because it does get lonely. I mean, my father is basically a hermit right now. I mean, obviously this is after the kids have moved out and everything. I mean, if it's just me and the kids and if you happen to pass, by the way, I get nervous every single time the weather picks up like the way it does right now and you're on the road by yourself driving the perimeter highway. Those thoughts cross my mind all the time.
Yeah, because I drive it a lot.
It scares me to death.
Yeah, and I had an incident the other night, which I'll share. But
I'm so happy we invested in winter tires this season because
sure.
I honestly think those winter tires have saved both of us more than a handful of times this winter because it's been a pretty brutal winter for driving.
Yeah, I would agree. But no, I wouldn't remarry. I would grieve. I would take my time. I don't like, but I agree with you. You're 46, turning 47. I were to pass in the next few years, like you said, you still have 50 potential years, at least 30 good years. Go find a partner to travel with and have fun with. And, I'm
not saying I wouldn't get my oil changed every once in a while.
I would expect that.
Yeah.
I would expect that. I would expect that. I mean, I'm comfortable now. I got visuals. I was like, okay. And then me as a ghost just coming in and like poking it so it goes limp and be like, see, bye-bye.
But truthfully, not to get too sappy, you're irreplaceable, and there's nobody else that it wouldn't be fair to get into a relationship with anybody else because I would constantly be comparing them to you, and that wouldn't be fair to them at all. And so I'm more than anything, I'm saving them because it would just be a constant comparison. And you're my one and only, and I already know I wouldn't be able to find anyone else comparable, and so it's not even worth trying. I kind of feel like I would be like Ted Mosby in How I Met Your Mother. Where, towards the end, the kid's like, you should meet somebody. He's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I had my one and only.
So what would you do for me?
What would I do for you?
Well, yeah, like I would throw you
well, I think it wasn't necessarily...
Mexican party.
I wasn't necessarily...
Oh, you were just digging to find out if I get remarried.
Yeah, no, look, I asked her this once upon a time, and I said, would you stay in the same house if you met somebody? And you were like, yeah, the house is fine. I was like, would you use the same bed? And you're like, no, it's a fairly new bed. I don't see why we'd change the bed. Like, well, would you let him use my golf clubs? And you said, no, he's right-handed.
Well, it'd be easier for sharing clubs. I'm the only righty in this house.
Yeah, well, look, it wasn't necessarily a
well, now I want to know, Dave. I want to know how you would honor me because I won't be here, so I might as well know how it's going to happen.
Well, all the things...
Fill me with joy.
All the things that you asked for, the wavy inflatable arm guy, all that kind of stuff, I would have... I honestly, you know what my love language is. I would have a camera set up, and I would have people come up if they weren't comfortable in getting in front of a microphone and speaking at your funeral. Then I would just have them leave a quick little message, and then I would edit it into a nice little "I will remember you," and then I would put a QR code on your gravestone, and people could click that QR code, and it would go right to the YouTube page, and it would have videos of you and pictures of you, and people in between going, "Yeah, that's so fun. She made me do heart opener at yoga, and I cried."
Would you bury me?
I listened to her Ray Within podcast series. No, I would do one of those things where you get put into a sack and buried with a couple of seeds of a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a grave. You know this, like cremate me. But there is that new-ish thing where they kind of like they put you in like a fetal position. And then they put you with a seed in like a little tree, and then you're out there come have a picnic underneath my tree. I wouldn't mind for a good 1,000 years just being anchored into the ground for a while. Be where your feet are. I'd really test those roots. I think
you basically become Groot.
Yeah, who's one of my favorites in the whole Marvel cinematic universe. I would say that because that's one thing when I drive by grave sites, they're just so compact and so tight, and I was just thinking we don't have anybody really that has a big piece of land. Like we don't have, well, no, that's not true. My uncle has a nice big piece of land where you could just, you know what? I'm going to come out and I'm going to sit and I'm going to chat with you. Oh, it makes me so emotional.
It's funny you mentioned the family plot or the family burial site, which is
your family
in St. Andrews, Ontario. And Simon Fraser is buried out there. Like some notable family members have been buried out there. But I never grew up there.
I know.
I've spent very little time in the grand scheme of things out there. And as much as I like that idea, once upon a time I had the idea of, spread my ashes over a golf course and just get a nice little bench on one of my favorite holes or something. But I'm not a member of that golf course anymore. So I'm like, that's out the window.
Oh, shit. I'll just shoehorn it in one day. I'll just we'll get a group of us and we'll just sneak it in and be like a run-off.
Well,
where'd that come from?
There's been some other weird ones, like people have put ashes into the ink and then get a tattoo.
You can be turned into a diamond.
Diamond, yeah.
You could do that. You could turn me into a diamond, and then when you find her,
that's what I'll propose with
to the new girl, and then she'll wear my dead body all the time.
Again, see, comparison.
Right.
Just so you know, you're wearing her dead body.
Yeah, and I think that one thing about this conversation is death is the thing we have to talk about. It's nothing none of us want to talk about, and I think I grew up where it's like, don't talk about it, don't talk about it, don't talk about it, and then something happens, and then it happens, and then we have the funeral, and then don't talk about it, don't talk about it, and that's just as I've become an adult, and I've met people who have had loss and sat beside people who have had loss and lost people in my own life. I realized no, I want to talk about it. I want to share, and I know that's not for everybody too. I have a friend who doesn't want to talk about it. And she's asked me, I don't want to talk about it. I'm okay. But if I ever do, I know I can count with you. That's it. And that was it. We backed off, and that was several years ago, and I never pushed. But for me, oh, man, talk about it. I'll have a QR code on the back of my shirt say, husband died, ask me about him. I don't know.
I'm available.
No.
Want to go to Hawaii with me?
No, that's a solo trip. I earned that shit. I'm getting a 10 and I'm watching. I'm going to cry on every sunrise and sunset. That's what I meant, though. I meant it as I think everything would remind you, and you need to grieve. And I don't think people, they're so quick to rush to grieve. It's like when you have a baby or something you grieve, and it's you get 3 days off. Get back to work, bitch. And you're and that's for somebody that you kind of know. And then maybe if your spouse dies, okay, we'll give you 2 weeks off. You've been here. You had good 2 weeks later, you're back. You're back, baby, running that same course in the morning. No coffee, no home for the hugs and all those kinds of things. And you need to break the cycle. You need to go and you need to take the pause and just breathe. And yeah, if it looks like it's a trip to Hawaii or a golf and it looks suspicious on the outside, well, I got this right here to show that was always my intention, is just to take a step, because I would struggle. Every day I'd be waiting for you to come home like I do now. And you get home, and what's the first thing you do? You walk in the door, fist pump both the kids, high five the kids, and then you and I have a hug, and you spin me around, and then, I would miss that. So I would have to go someplace and cry that out. I don't know though.
As selfish as this may sound, one of the main reasons I wanted to do this podcast specifically with you was
versus your other wife. What's with that about?
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna do a way better podcast. Was kind of a time capsule for the boys, for our kids, that 30 years from now, that if they want to remember mom and dad and kind of put themselves in a situation where they're like, I wonder what mom and dad thought at this age, and what did mom and dad think about, what were they talking about at this age? If they come across this one and they wonder, maybe they have the same question with their spouse or their partner, and they want to refer back to what we thought about it. And I told the boys before, we're in a day and age right now with technology where you can keep someone alive. We're living in that Black Mirror era where you can have an AI version with my voice and my likeness on a screen and talk to it. It's not me. It's not you. And I asked them specifically, I said, do not do that. Let us die. If you miss us, come back to these videos. There's more than enough audio and video of us together online that you can go back anytime and dig into these and remember us that way, if you really do miss us that much. But let us move on. And I think that's the same for anybody. Grieve, take your time, live life, because I think that anyone that has moved on has a better understanding in the afterlife that your time on this planet is very short.
It's not one more day, it's one less.
The time that you have with the people, you got to spend as much time as you can with the ones that you love, and the ones that are left, spend it with them. I'm at this point, we're gone. There's nothing you can do about it.
There is something else I would do. I'd get a tattoo for you, an honored tattoo.
That's weird though. If you do meet someone else, it's got to be one of those things where if you look at it, only you know what it is, but for someone else, don't get my face right here between your titties.
No,
that'd be weird.
That is weird. I'll get it under.
Maybe just my mustache.
Yeah, I'll get it under both of them.
Down here.
What about you would get a unicorn for me? You already said you would.
Would I?
You told me you would.
Yeah.
You taking that back?
No.
You said you'd get a little unicorn tattoo for me.
Yeah. Down here.
Oh.
Yeah. Finally get my face tattoo.
Oh man, yeah, I did that tattoo show last weekend. I was emceeing that tattoo show, and there was a lot of face, a lot of neck, a lot of back, a lot of head. Like tattoos, they're so can be looked at in one direction, but like to be there and just to see that freedom with it, that was special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's leave it at that. I think that's a
that was a heavy one.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah, I think it's important to talk about it.
And honestly, like you said, there's a lot of people that shy away from talking about death. And if you can have fun with it and laugh about it.
Well, I think with your spouse you have to. I think you have to have a will. You need to get a will. You need to have your kids sorted. We are big fans of Secrecy Financial. He's been helping us since day one. Mm-hmm. Shout out to George. He's always been he's Santa Claus to me. He figures out life insurance policies and things, but also like he prepares you for the conversation you don't want to have. And no one wants to try and figure that out at the end. You want to have it all in place so that unfortunately when that day happens, his team, somebody shows up and they say, here's your blank, blank, and blank. This is how this is going to work. This is what they wanted. And somebody else, you've already made the decision together in a sound mind, because who knows who knows? Your emotional train is all over the place. Mm-hmm. And you need that sound. And so we've used George at Secrecy Financial and their team, Penny and Pam, for years. They're one of the first people I met with through you. And yeah, George is just one of the best. So my recommendation, if I take away anything from this, is if you're not prepared, get prepared. Get prepared for it. Have the conversation. Figure out how you want to honor each other. And also, I saw this on social media. There's a guy, very famous talker. Of course, I don't remember his name. But he said something that I thought was really, really brilliant. He said, next time you're hugging somebody, hug them. And just for a moment, think about that this could be the last time that you're hugging them. He says,
see, that stuff like that. That's the stuff that gets me. I'm like, oh.
And he said, and the reason why is because, we move through our life with like these quick hugs or anything. But when you hug your mom or your dad and you know that you're not going to see them, right? You go visit them and they don't live in the same place. Just pause for a second. Take that extra time and just think, one day they might be here, and you like really feel the hug. Feel the hug. That's what I love about a hug. It's heart to heart connection. And I thought that was really bad. Again, it's a tough thing to say, because then you think like, because you just don't know. You don't know that tomorrow something isn't going to happen. And that was the last time. But if you just took a pause and just, you can literally call back and go, I actually remember giving you that hug. I had that hug with you. That was his takeaway that I'm repurposing, that I don't remember his name, but here we are.
Sending a digital hug to you. Please go unsubscribe and do all the things that are necessary. Have a great week. Enjoy March. Yeah.
Make sure, though, at my funeral, I'm flexing. The last shot of me. She would have wanted you all to see her muscles. Even if I'm 80 years old, use that photo from the stage. Just a full butt shot.